Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear. In grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Oh, through many dangers, toils and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and it is grace that will lead me home. Yeah, how amazing, how wonderful you are. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've known less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I Sikuyo indlela yelizwe lobomi, ikhaya labantu behleli ngenxeba. Nina-ke nahluka futhi ngokona nithi ninoyana noyana phezulu. Hey noyana 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 nithi nina
Shall Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining on time and welcome to this memorial. I am Nom Sabuso and I am your host this evening. We do have our MC. I just want to introduce myself so that you do not feel offended when I mute you without knowing. However, I have been noting people are still having conversations behind. I'm going to be the one who's muting you without your knowing. Good evening to everybody. I hope we enjoy this time. You can take over, MC. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, colleagues. A special welcome to the family of the late Dr. Buyile Tom. Let's invite Bishop Ntsikelelo Ngakayi to open this service with a prayer.
Mandi buleleke kumbhexeshi inkqubo wethu enjikalanga nje. I hope I am audible and visible at the same time. Ngicela isihlalo ndiyavakala.
Bishop, you are. Yes, thank you.
Enkosi. Masi sunguleni ke lo msebenzi sele uchaziwe ngabaqhuquzeleli nababhexeshi inkqubo. Inkonzo yokukhumbula ke ongasekhoyo uDr. Buyile Tom Masithandazeni. Bawethu oyingcwele, mdali wezulu nomhlaba. Oh Nkosi yami, sele nabile amathunzi ezintabeni. Thixo wethu onamandla amakhulu, xa indalo yakho nganye yenjenjeya ukuya ngendawo yayo yokulala. Jehova wamabandla, nathi njengenxalenye yendalo yakho sisondela kwelethu igwiba, sisondela kwelethu ihlathi netyholo lokuzimelela inguwe. Sifihle ke mzali ebusuku nje xa ungendawo egquma efuna nabani na angamqwengayo. Usifihle Nkosi ngokukodwa kwintsholongwane engubhubhane ezweni lethu nasemhlabeni jikelele, intsholongwane ka-COVID-19. Sikelela ke le nkonzo, sikelela izithethi, sikelela usapho lomntu wakho ngasekhoyo uGqirha Tom. Asinqwenanga Nkosi ukuthunuka izilonda ebezisele zipholile, kodwa siqhutywa kukumthanda kwethu sele ngasekho phakathi kwethu. Konke kusucela ngalo wasifelayo wabuya wasivukela uYesu Kristu Nkosi yethu. Amen. Phambi koba ke ndibuyisela intambo kuwe mbhexeshi inkqubo, mandibulele ke ithuba endilifumeneyo nesimemo endisifumeneyo kubaququzeleli, ngakumbi ke ugxa wam uGqirha Nqakamba. Uthe ke xa ebendilungiselela lo msebenzi wathi ndinemizuzu 13 ke kuyo sendiyityile, ndishiyeke ke ngoku nesixhenxe. Uba ke akunjalo ityala ke nakulibeka kuye. Mandikhawuleze ke ndifunde nje umyalezo omfutshane uba kuyalunga kuwe bhexeshi inkqubo, as part of opening this service.
Under his wings I am safely abiding, though the night deepens and tempests are wild. Still I can trust him, I know he will keep me. He has redeemed me and I am his child. Under his wings, who from his love can sever? Under his wings, my soul shall abide, safely abide forever. Jesus, I'm safe evermore. Under his wings, who from his love can sever. Under his wings, my soul shall abide, safely abide forever.
Thank you very much for that wonderful song, which assures us that under his wings we are always safe. Before Bishop asinike a sermonette, I would like to introduce him. He is a Bishop Nagai from the Moravian Church in South Africa. He has a huge task of covering a responsibility in KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, as well as areas of Matatele and Mount Fletcher, which are the areas that are in the former Transkei. Abaninzi bethu will know Bishop from listening from his sermons, which are flighted on Nene. He also has a responsibility of being a human resources practitioner with our South African National Defence Force. He is married to Dr. uThixo umblesse ngabantwana ababini, uSithembiso Jr., named after him, as well as uLusanele. What stands out for me and what makes me happy today is the fact that ulibhakabhaka as well. His hobbies, he loves soccer and supports Orlando Pirates. At this juncture, I'm going to hand over to Bishop Nagai to give us our opening sermonette for today. Over to you, Bishop.
Mandi buleleke kuwe Mpexeshi Nkqubo. Am I audible?
Very audible.
And am I visible as well?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind introduction. Ndiphinde ke ndibulise bonke abantwana bakaThixo esinabo ke kule nkonzo yesikhumbuzo ka Dr. Tom sisebenzisa ke ubuxhakaxhaka bale mihla. My colleague Dr. Nqakamba, with whom I liaised in preparation for this service, did brief me to say that I need to accommodate all of our participants who might not all be isiXhosa speakers. So I am mindful of that. Msinyane ke bethu singatyanga amaxesha, the nature of these engagements, virtual engagements, require that we be crisp. Singatyi data zabantu. Not all of us have access to Wi-Fi. Dr. Tom ke xa bendikhangela ke iprofile yakhe, may his soul rest in peace. Namhlanje ebeya kuba ugqibe iminyaka engama-57, having been born on the 18th of February all those years ago, 1964. Uthixo ke makawenza umoya wakhe ulale ngoxolo. Ndizawufunda ke ndikhawulezile Hebrews chapter 11. I will read only 2 verses thereof. Hebrews chapter 11, verses 1 and 4. Ndifunda ke ngesiXhosa. Amakhalipha okholo ngokwemizekelo yeTestamente endala is the heading. Verse 1. Ukholo ke kukukholosa ngezinto ezithenjiweyo, ukweyiseka bubukho bezinto ezingabonwayo. Verse 4. Ngokholo uAbheli wasondeza kuye uThixo umbingelelo ogqithileyo kunokaKhayini. Awangqinelwa ngawo ukuba ulilungisa. uThixo wayingqinelayo nje iminikelo yakhe, ngalo ke efile nje usathetha. Inkosi ke yoxolo isikelela ukufundwa kwalamazwi enamandla kakhulu ebomini bethu, emande ezindlebeni zethu ngokwadabuya uYesu Kristu ezolanda ibandla lakhe lonke lisemhlabeni. Bonke abakholwayo bathi amen. Bantwana bakaThixo, xa sikhumbula ugxa wethu uDr. Tom, uThixo ubeke lamazwi enhliziyweni yam evesi yesine kwesi sahluko se-11, 4th verse of Hebrews chapter 11. Ndiyayithanda ke kakhulu ngolwimi lwesiXhosa, ithi phaya emaphethelweni, efile nje usathetha, efile nje usathetha. Ithi ke lento umuntu uyakwazi ukuthi elele ukufa, having died, but aqhubekeke engophilileyo ezinkumbulweni zabo abashiye ngasemva, ezinhliziyweni zabo abashiye ngasemva, long after he had died. And I think we can all agree, and we will all agree, ukuthi uDr. Tom was such a person who has endeared himself to all of us, so that even when he is gone, he still lives in our hearts. Efile nje usathetha. Now you do that in people's hearts when you have made a contribution ebomini babo ngexesha ubusaphila. So it encourages all of us who are still alive ukuba sisebenze sibhinqe omfutshane, senze okuhle eluntwini nasebantwini, ukuze ke naxa sesilela ukufa njengoDr. Tom, imisebenzi yethu ishiyeke isathetha ebantwini esibashiye ngasemva. I also need to commend the class of 92 and others for this service yokuthi simkhumbule umntakwethu sele elele kobandayo. Simkhumbula ke ngemisebenzi yakhe emihle, ukunceda abagulayo, ukuphilisa nokunyanga abo bagulayo. Sisithi ke namhlanje, ewe yena ungenile engcwabeni, ewe yena uthe shwaka ekufeni, kodwa efile nje usathetha ezinhliziyweni zethu, efile nje usaphila ezinhliziyweni nasezinkumbulweni zethu. Lo mazwi ke mawakhuthaze usapho lwakhe, lo mazwi mawakhuthaze ogxa bakhe. Let those words encourage all those who were close to his heart, and in his heart he was also close. Ukuthi he might have gone, but definitely he is not forgotten. Efile nje usathetha. Uyawuhlala ethetha ngemisebenzi yakhe emihle, uyawuhlala ethetha kuthi with all the memories that we created naye esaphila. Nkosi yoxolo ke mayisithuthuzele sonke, someleze wokunaphakade. Amen. Back to you, program director and the host. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this juncture, we're going to give over to Dr. Phil Makume. We know him very well in our class. I know very well that as early as in our second year, he was the class rep. If I remember, I think I was his vice. I don't even remember doing anything in that year of 1988. We'll have his CV displayed on screen before he addresses us.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, you are on screen.
I'm on screen. Thank you.
You are Phil.
Yeah, first of all, we'd like to thank the mighty Lord for allowing us to celebrate this day. And also, we'd like to thank Ifemeliga Dr. Tom for allowing us, even if it's difficult, to celebrate his life. So today, we are not crying, we are celebrating his life. So class of 92 has created a memory always that everybody's birthday is celebrated, but for the first time this year, we are celebrating a life that was amongst us, and because his spirit is still within us, it will remain in us, we'll forever celebrate his life. So we are very grateful to the family about it, and this is an act of goodwill and gesture from us to say he is not forgotten. We thank you for that. To the organizing committee, Dr. Z, and to the organization that felt that is very critical to celebrate this day, we are very grateful that you didn't forget about Dr. Tom, and we want to honor him today through your organization, and because he was part of the class of 92. As class of 92, I think we are grateful that this celebration, you included us to celebrate his life. What do I say about Dr. Tom? When we're at varsity, we seldom know each other deep because everybody is busy. We have different groupings, we play different sports, and we never link that much when we are still at academia, unless if it's your group mate, as we call them. And Mina, the time that I started knowing Dr. Tom is when we formed this class of 92 chat group, and Dr. Tom kept this group alive until he passed on. You'll never miss a day without his comments. And I know there was a stage that we have to call him to order and say, please shut up, you talk too much because you comment too much. And he never stopped, that was Dr. Tom. He will engage you in a debate about politics, about healthcare, about business, about traditions, about spirit issues. And for me, specifically is that, and he engaged me at one aspect, which was he advocate Tom, I think it's his brother. He once called me and said, do you mind praying for my brother with cancer, which is in remission, and we need you guys and your prayers and strength. And for about 3 or 6 months, if I'm not forgotten, in 2019, we had almost daily a prayer session where we'll send verses and say we're with him, pray for the brother. And it's so unfortunate that when Dr. Tom, this disease caught him, as class, we also went the same route, and unfortunately, or fortunately, the mighty Lord called him, and we had to release him despite the pain and the suffering. So to the class of 92, to the family, in spirit, Dr. Tom is still with us and will forever celebrate his life. And today, let's share the memories, what we know about him. I've also shared my memories about him, and he will rise in glory. He has already rested, but he will rise in glory. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much, Phil. I think I like what you mentioned, the fact that the family allowed us to be part of their celebrations in memory of Dr. Tom. It's his birthday today, and we know that they wanted to have a special or a family celebration for themselves. But thanks to you guys that you allowed the class of 1992 to be part of your your memories. Without wasting time, I'm going to introduce the next speaker. Uh, he's known very well in the Nelson Mandela metropolitan as a community leader. He was the first mayor of a town called Utnik. People who know the Nelson Mandela Bay will know that the metro comprises of Port Elizabeth, Utnik, as well as Dispatch. And the next speaker was the first mayor of Utnik. He is a former HOD and Superintendent General of the Eastern Cape Department of Health. He currently is practicing as a family medicine specialist with special interest in obstetrics and gynecology as well as fetal-maternal medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Siva Pillay. Over to you, Dr. Pillay.
Thank you, Program Director. Thanks to Bishop Nukai for a warm welcome and for the prayer. And thanks to the family for allowing us to have this memorial service. I want to thank the organizers of this program, because it is really nice to honor a comrade, honor a colleague, and to remember his life, and to know that he is remembered among ourselves. From my side, it's a singular honor for me to speak about my colleague, my comrade, and my friend, Dr. Buyile Tom. Sorry about that. Buyile was he was a homeboy. He came from Utneg. He lived in Utneg. He came from the townships of Utneg, and he studied here in a township school called Limekaya High School, which was in Konabusle at that time. And he left from here as a role model because first he went to Vista to do BCom, but didn't, for reasons, left that, and then went to Medunsa, qualified, and came back. Now, usually when people qualify from and become doctors, they very rarely come back to their small town and their small place. But Buyile, was an exceptional person. He had great loyalty to his community, and he came back all the way to Utneg again. More importantly, when he came back, he could have worked in Livingston Hospital, he could have worked in Letitia Baum, he could have worked in Utneg District Hospital. But Buyile went and worked at the Community Health Center in Konabusle called Letitia Baum Clinic. It was in the heart of the township from which he came. And I think this comes from the strong roots of his father, who was my comrade. His father was a priest in the Dutch Reformed Church here with a large congregation. And he was also my comrade who also kept us morally in check. I can still remember him walking with the newspaper under his elbow, and he'll say, and he'll ask us about something, and it'll be a social discussion about something. A very socially conscious person, and his children are the same. And Buyile had that trait in him. And he came back and he worked at Letitia Baum Clinic. At Letitia Baum Clinic at that time, we as doctors here, we formed an IPA called UDIPA. And we were also a little bit progressive, and all of our doctors, we said, we are going to work 3 hours for free in the community and the different clinics. And Buyile was our point man, because we had no full-time doctor at Letitia Baum, which was a huge community of more than 250,000 people. And he became the first full-time doctor there. And being the first full-time doctor, we went in for 3 hours. He was our anchor, and when we had to follow up something or anything, he did it, and he did it with zest and zeal. And he took care of people in the community just like that. So he was a true primary healthcare physician. And when Buyile went into Letitia Balm, he did something else. He helped to make Letitia Balm Clinic, which is a primary healthcare center, a 24-hour center. It started off with trauma, and then it started off with a MOU for maternal obstetric unit. And at the present moment, it is one of the best run maternal obstetric units in the country, doing about 50 deliveries a month, 50 to 75 deliveries a month, all managed by clinics, in the clinic by nurses. Buyile didn't come as a commercial person and go straight from qualifying into private practice as many people did. He went and served the community for many years. And my belief is that Buyile would have continued serving in Letitia Balm had there been proper administration. But the powers that be at that time decided now that the doctors who are working at the district hospital should no longer go to the clinics, and the posts started to freeze out, and he ended up to be the only doctor working there, and he couldn't manage to work there day and night in a 24-hour service. Although we came in for 3 hours, it was not sustainable. And I think in frustration, he left to open a private practice. Now, though Buyile, UDIPA here, we started the whole capitation system, having our own medical aid, and we were contracted to VW and 23 companies. And we had about 40,000 patients on a capitation system. Buyile joined this system about 5 years after it started. But within 1 year, he had the maximum number of patients capitated to him. That will tell you how popular he was in the township. His was the largest capitated practice. He had the largest amount of patients. And he was an exceptional doctor who worked long hours, and his patients came first for him. I'd like to also speak to Buyile as a comrade. Buyile, he had many contemporaries here who were with him, Wong Kankala, Boy Squatty, and others who were in school with him. But after he went to Medunsa, Vista and Medunsa to qualify, he came back. There's a lacuna that was there. And most of these comrades had become quite prominent activists. We used to meet every Friday as the Communist Party, but we never called it the Communist Party, we called it the Eugenic Activist Forum at a place called Urban Foundation. And Buyile used to come through there every Fridays. And many times we used to ask him, Buyile, why don't you take this position or anything? But he was a selfless leader. He just wanted to say, no, guys, you guys have been here. You guys are doing this. You are stronger at this. If you want my support, I will do the support. Give me a task, I will do the task. And he silently worked in the background and he supported everything. The beauty of Buyile as a comrade, he was a comrade's comrade. And why I say that was that, he had friends in the ANC, he had friends in the COPE, he had friends in EFF, and he had even friends in the DA, who defected, people who defected from this and to the DA. And sometimes we used to go to Buyile and we used to joke with him, say, Buyile, he says, Mhlekazi, don't worry. You see, all these people, ANC. So they are all ANC. Abantwana ANC. So although they were comrades of different organizations, he was friendly with everybody. And they all regarded him as a comrade. And he was the first port of call when any of the comrades got into any trouble or anything, medically or in terms of needing help for many things. Buyile had a big heart. And when you worked in the township in those days, you were the first port of call for all donations. The sports groups will come to you for donations, the political parties will come to you for donations, the NGOs will come to you for donations. And Buyile was a guy I think everybody took advantage of because of his big heart. People used to just speak to him and they used to say, okay, I'll try to help you. I'm busy now, but I'll help you. And when you went there, you didn't need to even speak to him. There will be an envelope waiting for you at reception. and you had to take your envelope and go. Till one time we had to tell him, Buyile, Jonga, you can't do this thing like that because you don't know who you're supporting, you'll get bluffed. So don't go to individuals, support the organizations, and we had to direct that he doesn't get fooled by people who are just chances in the end. And that's the type of contribution that Buyile made to the community besides just being a doctor. And in this way, sporting organizations, NGOs, political parties all came to him and they were all helped. And when he did this and when he helped them, and you used to ask him, "Hi, Buyile, we're going to say that you gave us a donation." He said, "Hi, Kumrityam. Yegi gamalam, yegi gamalam." And he used to be selfless. He didn't want limelight. He used to silently do his contribution without expecting anything in return. And this is something, leaders today need to learn, that you don't do anything if only for the reason of wanting something in return. Wheeler did things selflessly because he had a big heart and he really wanted to help people and do things like that. As a doctor, he was an exceptional doctor, and his skills were unparalleled. As a GP, that's why he was so popular, and most of the people just came to him, and he was the first port of call. But the beauty of Buyile was that if any patient needed help, whether they had a medical aid or not, he will somehow find the ability to help them. And he used to be very flattering. He used to write poetic referral letters. He would write a letter, "Hi, Comrade Jam Dr. Pillay, I've got this patient. You need to help her because although she does not have medical aid, we need to do something because she's got this problem for a long time." And you'll say, "If you need be, I will pay you the consultation fees." And you can't ask for the consultation fees. But that was his heart, and he really did it. And he will say to you, "And if Ulalisiwe as Bedlel, just tell me, I will go and visit her." And you will go and visit her free in the hospital and things like that. And he was really a kind of a doctor who cared and did his work diligently. We will also set up a bursary. When he went and he qualified and he came back, many of the people who were contemporaries with him actually ended up to be dropouts at schools and things like that and didn't continue to study. He came back and he set up a bursary fund, and I also served on that bursary committee. And many of the people who are unemployed, who were pupils with him in school and things like that, he actually funded them. And there are more than 20 to 30, and I can tell you one of the most prominent one was Wong Kankala, who was a union leader here, who lost his job at VW and then had to go back to Vista University, and he paid for them. And there were many of them like that he gave bursaries to. And for us, we say, "Imtim Kulu Uwile," the big tree has fallen. It's a huge loss, and his sudden departure, because for him, he didn't have a prolonged illness. It's still a shock. Some of us still can't believe that Buyile is not here, because he was just working, and then in a few days we hear that Buyile is no more. And some of us, it's still a shock that is still settling in. It's a huge loss to the medical fraternity. It's a huge loss to the community of Utenay, and I'm sure it's a huge loss to his family. We want to pay condolences to him and to say condolences to the family. We also want to thank the family for sharing Buyile with us, because Buyile really was, I think his family suffered because of the amount of time that Buyile spent with the community and the people of Utenay. To us, he was an exceptional doctor, a good comrade, a philanthropist, and a person with a heart of gold. And I'm so glad that we are celebrating his life today. He was a selfless leader. He didn't look for recognition, but he was a leader in his own right. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pillay, for painting a very beautiful picture about our late colleague, Dr. Buyile Tom. May his soul rest in peace. A man with a very big heart. Now I'm going to give a word to Dr. Buso to introduce our guest speaker for the day. Over to you, Dr. Buso.
Thank you ever so much, Mzi. This is Lali, so please forgive the poor video. I'm going to request colleagues again to kindly mute themselves. Even if you are not talking, the background noises are actually disturbing the recording. So kindly mute yourselves if you are not on the stage. Thank you ever so much. The lady I am about to introduce needs not much of introduction because everybody knows her. She is a dynamic medical doctor. She's a technopreneur. She's the coach and the manager. She's a mom and a grandmother. She has been in the medical industry for more than 30 years. And many of us think of medics who have specialized as people who have made it. But her specialty is not in diagnostic disease, but more in socialization and ensuring that the medical field is being understood by the common people on the ground. I call her a translator of medical language into vernacular language because that's what she does. She takes the medical language into the common community and ensures that the common people understand it and are able to use it. She's a doctorpreneur and she owns a wellness center that does not only look at occupational health disease, but also looks that the people living in communities are able to utilize their communities well. Dr. Max coaches people far and wide. She does not only look at South Africa, but all our neighboring countries. We have a lot of our doctors abroad that depend on her coaching and love to prosper. And each time, she only does it best. I don't want to waste people's time because her profile speaks for itself. She's the founder of Heroes Memorial. And during this time of COVID, she's been our pillar of strength. And she's an author in the making. Let her write her story. I don't want to waste more time. Welcome, Max. Thank you, my coach.
Thank you, Buso, and thank you everybody for this wonderful evening. I'm Dr. Maggie Mujapelo, and tonight is the night. Tonight is the night of a hero, the night of a martyr, the night of an icon, Dr. Buyile Tom. He fought a good fight. He completed the race well. We have heard how he was a philanthropist, a doctor par excellence, a donator, the story of an envelope, even from the social media, from patients, keep on coming. But most importantly, the finesse that he has served humanity and the beautiful and iconic work that he has done. And tonight is the night of a hero. And tonight is the night of an icon. As the COVID-19 was wreaking havoc worldwide, it quickly descended into the shores of our country. And indeed, Dr. Buyile Tom, like many of us, we can see in the background a sea of soldiers. That is a memorial. It's a sea of soldiers. Many of us, like Dr. Buyile, we went to the front line. Indeed, armed with our visors and masks and our scrubs, we went to the front line. And we know that many of us didn't come back. Look at the sea of our healthcare workers, our colleagues, our soldiers who fought an undeclared war. The undeclared war in a virus that was never declared. The undeclared war that took many of our colleagues. That memorial, you can lose count. And we can see Dr. Buyile is amongst one of them, the soldiers who didn't come back. To us, that is headline. We know that the media will not take it as headline news, but that memorial says a lot about the tenacity and endurance of healthcare workers. Here is a long list of healthcare workers, and we are happy today as we celebrate Dr. Buyile's birthday today on the 18th of February. We are saying to the family, most important family, we are hereby as heroes, Healthcare Heroes Memorial. We are memorializing Dr. Buyile Tom. Dr. Buyile Tom has joined many of his colleagues on this Healthcare Heroes Memorial. The Healthcare Heroes Memorial was formed at a time when many of us healthcare workers, we were in tears, we were fatigued, we didn't know what has hit us, and we couldn't even congregate to celebrate each other's lives, and we were losing many lives amongst our colleagues. And the emojis of tears, of heartbroken families, that was flooding our media. It ignited that passion that we have to honor our soldiers, our heroes, and we have to memorialize them. That's how the Healthcare Workers Memorial was formed. And I am humbled today. Here are all the social media platforms. The Healthcare Workers, the Healthcare Heroes Memorial has become bigger than we thought. We have got ambassadors, we've got families that cherish it for their loved ones. And we are saying three things that the Healthcare Heroes Memorial do. The objective, after such a life well lived, impactful lead of Dr. Buyile Tom, we have heard it all: philanthropist, doctor par excellence, and all, and a father, an uncle, a brother, a phenomenal person, a community worker. Surely that life cannot just be gone. The Healthcare Workers Memorial, we are saying, one, we honor such a life well lived. Two, we honor the family, the families that has selflessly shared the love of the life of their loved ones with us and humanity. We honor the legacy that Dr. Buyile Tom has created. We are capturing the story of Dr. Tom. We have heard today some of the things that we didn't, some of the important aspects that we didn't know. When we talk about the legacy of many of healthcare workers has to be put in a historical record. And today, as we memorialize our icon, our soldier, Dr. Buyile Tom, family, we are saying we honor his selfless sacrifice to humanity. And Healthcare Heroes Memorial, we promise to uphold that legacy. It has to be done. It is an obligation to us all. And we are happy that medical formations countrywide has rallied around this cause. The Healthcare Heroes Memorial has become a rendezvous, a meeting place like tonight, the night of the night, Dr. Buyile Tom, Memorialization, that will be remembered long after, for generations, long after we're gone. Lastly, I would like to say the activities of Healthcare Heroes Memorial, including this one, comprises of many phenomenal, passionate individuals. The ambassadors here, Dr. Zilungile, Dr. Buso, their team, Dr. Radi, and all the ambassadors who are tuned in today. And indeed, we congratulate the class, Medunza class of 1992. And we are saying you have created a path that the country has never been before. What a wow. On the day, on his birthday, our healthcare hero, Dr. Buyile Tom, celebrating the life well lived, celebrating the life of our icon. Family, we thank you. And tonight, the memorial has come with the highest honor that is befitting our colleague, our healthcare hero, the father, an icon. It is in a form of a hero's duopack. It is a hero's candle of light that will that will keep us, the light shining on all of us. All the patients, we have had a bevy of patients that Dr. Tom had. Humanity, colleagues, and indeed, importantly, the family. That is going to be conferred tonight by one of our ambassadors, and the certificate of honor, honoring the life well lived, honoring a soldier, an icon, and that is a candle, the candle, and our motto is we honor Dr. Tom's selfless sacrifice to humanity and legacy that we promise to uphold, and we have started today. And that is a certificate of honor that will also be handed to the family. I wouldn't talk much about that. And in conclusion, I would like to say, I thank everyone. COVID has taught us unity. COVID has taught us that our heroes, our colleagues, deserves a heroic send-off, a heroic legacy, and we are doing just that. I thank everybody who has tuned in far and wide for memorializing, for coming to this monumental event of relevance in our history in the medical fraternity. I thank everybody who has tuned in and who is participating in the memorialization of Dr. Buyile Tom. Let the family be comforted, and I thank you all as we memorialize the giant in Dr. Buyile Tom. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mujapil, for those words of comfort, but also of courage to us who are living, to us as the colleagues of Buyile Tom. It's actually indeed happy to see how Buyile Tom lived his life. When you commit to an oath, you commit to a belief, you commit to a cause, which is exactly what he did. and he's left a legacy. And the words that we've delivered now have actually helped us who are living as well. They've motivated us, and some of us have been feeling distraught and, because of what we're going through in terms of the pandemic. But thank you very much for reminding us of the oath. Thank you. And for now, with those beautiful words from Dr. Mujapili, I'm going to be calling on one of our colleagues, class of 1992, Unhlanhla, with Dr. Mchali, to do the reading of the oath. And I think at this juncture, it will be in order for us to, or maybe for the IT team, to consider switching on the screens for everyone, because this is the period or the time where we'll have to raise our hands and recommit ourselves to the oath that we took way back in 1992. Over to you, Dr. Charlie.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mzi. This is key, and as a reminder of why we are in this field. I've decided to do the summer doctor's pledge because I'm a member of summer. And you can repeat after me if you want, so that we all, we all declare this pledge as a reminder. As a member of South African Medical Association, I've decided I chose this one. Okay? I solemnly pledge.
I solemnly pledge
To dedicate my life to the service of humanity. I will practice my profession. With conscience and dignity.
Conscience and dignity.
And in accordance with good medical practice.
In accordance with good medical practice.
The health and well-being of my patient.
The health and well-being of my patients.
Community.
And
my broader African communities.
And my broader African community
will be my key considerations.
My key consideration.
I will respect the dignity of my patient.
I will respect the dignity of my patient.
I will respect the autonomy and confidentiality of my patients.
I will respect the autonomy and confidentiality of my patients.
And not divulge what ought not to be divulged.
And not divulge what ought not to be divulged.
I will foster and honor.
I will foster and honor
the noble traditions of the medical profession.
the noble traditions of the medical professions.
I will give to my family.
I will give to my family.
Teachers, colleagues.
Colleagues.
And students. The rest and the gratitude that is their due.
The respect and the gratitude that is their due.
I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient.
I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient.
And the advancement of healthcare. I will attend to my own health.
I will attend to my own health.
Well-being. Safety and security.
Safety and security.
And abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard.
In order to provide the highest standard.
I will maintain the utmost respect for human life.
I will maintain the utmost respect for human life.
I will not permit considerations of age,
I will
will
not
not
omit
omit consideration of age,
disease or disability,
disease or disability,
creed, ethnic origin,
race and ethnic origin,
gender, nationality,
gender, nationality,
political affiliation, race,
political affiliation, race,
sexual orientation, social standing,
sexual orientation, social standing,
or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient.
intervene between my duty and my patient.
I will not use my medical knowledge
I will not use my
My medical knowledge
to violate human rights
to violate human rights
and civil liberties,
and civil liberties,
even under threat.
even under threat.
I make these promises solemnly,
I make
Promises solemnly,
freely,
freely,
on my honor.
on my honor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Dr. Mtali. Our next item is by Dr. Nyanda Bulelo, the Heroes Memorial Legacy Candle and Certification of Appreciation. Bulelwa is the Eastern Cape Ambassador. And without wasting time, I'm going to hand over to her.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mabenge. I'm Bulelwa Nyanda from Eastern Cape. I'm currently in East London from Port Elizabeth. Good evening, Tom Buyile, Tom's family, friends, relatives. Special greetings to you, Dr. Nziki Tom, the wife to Dr. Buyile Tom, and special greetings to your three sons, Pumelela, Pumelele, and Latita. You named your children quite correctly and quite significantly for this occasion. All their names, they stand for success, they stand for light, they stand for humility, and we know that that is going to be achieved. This is a healthcare heroes memorial. A hero then, the significance of us doing this. A hero is somebody who is admired for his courage. We admire Dr. Tom for his courage. Somebody with an outstanding achievement. We admire him for all the outstanding achievements that have been spoken of here by Dr. Pillay and colleagues. Class of 92, we admire Dr. Buyile Tom for such qualities. He had such noble qualities and took over the profession and noble profession of being on the front line of healthcare. So now, we've got a duo pack here. I'm not going to dwell much because my founder, Dr. Mujapelo, has already explained. But this is to honor Dr. Buyile's Dom's selfless sacrifice and legacy. A legacy is something that is left for the beneficiaries. And it's not just the Tom family that has benefited from such humility and dedication of Dr. Tom, but the community at large. We have heard of how philanthropical he had been. The legacy is left to the wife, the family, and colleagues, and the country as well. And also is there to teach us, even those young doctors who are still there, and how to walk in the shoes of Dr. Tom. He had quite big shoes. The duo pack consists of a certificate, and I'm going to ask one of the doctors who are there by Dr. Buyile Tom's house to show us the certificate of honor and appreciation. We give in as the Healthcare Heroes Memorial a certificate, a hero certificate of honor and appreciation for our colleague, Dr. Buyile, our healthcare hero, and as well as the family for sharing their daddy, their husband, and their family member, their cousin, their friend with the whole country and with us as doctors. Dr. Tom shared his life with us, and this is the highest honor we remember him, memorialization of Dr. Tom. We are bestowing such honor unto him and unto his family. His service to humanity was and is still immeasurable and will remain indelible in our hearts as the medical profession, as the community, as the family, and the country at large. The duopac is therefore part of remembering Dr. Tom and legacy and the light that he continues to shine. And we take this as a momentous occasion. We are very honored by the Tom family for allowing us to hand over these things. There's the candle as well as the certificate. I am going to ask one of the doctors to show us the certificate which we are going to hand over to the family. That is the certificate that you have made to Dr. Tom for his selflessness and dedication to his profession. So I will ask the doctor who's Pumelele Tom, who is having the certificate, to hand it over to the mother. Thank you so much. The next presentation will be the candle. Sorry, can I just add something? Can we have all the three kids standing next to the mother, Pumelela and Latita, please? Thank you.
Okay. This is the presentation of the certificate to Dr. Buyile Tom's family, to the sons and to the mother.
Thank you very much. This is to honor and appreciate our colleague, our healthcare hero, Dr. Buyile Tom. And this certificate is also to encourage you to walk in his footsteps. Thank you very much. Hand it over, Pum. Thank you. Just keep on standing there. We are going to hand over the legacy candle of hope and light. For the light of our healthcare hero, Dr. Buyile Tom, to continue to shine. His light, Dr. Buyile Tom, will continue to shine on you, Bantwana Bam, will continue to shine on you, Nziki, Nonge Pumelele, Pumelela, Latita, and the entire Tom family. We want this legacy candle to continue shining even in the darkest corner. We've heard of the philanthropist that was Buyile Tom, and we know that he has left an indelible mark in our country and in your hearts as well. So we are handing over this candle, and we encourage you, when you remember him, you use this candle, you light this candle on family occasions, gatherings, birthdays, your birthdays, in remembrance of Dr. Buyile Tom. And remember him as the light that he continues to shine, even posthumously. We take this as a very monumentous occasion. And we thank you for allowing us to hand over to present these candles to you. May his light keep on shining. Uchilo umfundisi in Hebrews 11 that efilenje usateta. So we are speaking to you using these certificates, using these candles, showing that we will never forget Buyile Tom. Our communities, our colleagues will never forget what we, Dr. Buyile Tom, stood for. Thank you very much, Bantwana Bam. We wish you all the success in the world. We know that you will remember your father. Your father stood for success. He stood for, I was with him when I was doing BSc pre-med at Forte with Dr. Mabenge. So your father, your daddy stood for success. And we say, good luck in everything. Thank you very much for allowing us to share the life of Buyile Tom, your daddy, with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Myanda, for your wonderful words, and thanks for doing a good job there in handing over the certificate of appreciation, and especially the symbolic candle that will continue to light in the lives of people who mattered a lot to our fallen hero. Our next guest is known to many of us, especially those who've been in private practice. He did his pre-medicine at TEFLOP and then continued to do medicine at Medunsa, qualifying in the year 1983. He then worked as a medical officer at Hoodhoek Hospital and at Masana. He has been a general practitioner in a number of locations in Gauteng, Kagiso, Soweto, and so on. He is a former chairperson of Mapeni Investment Group. He's a board member for a number of organizations, including Center for Youth Development, Health Products for Africa, as well as Ratong Hospital. He's also been involved in a number of businesses. He is also an originator or convener of the SAMDP, and currently is also the chairperson of Sefako Makgato University. He's a self-made professor of general medicine and running quizzes and tutorials at WhatsApp groups. His interests are reading medical and business literature, and he has traveled extensively locally and overseas. He's also listed as a music researcher. I think we have something in common because I'm also a musician. I'm a pianist. I don't know which instrument he plays. He also is a soccer researcher. And at this juncture, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Mogale Soli Montlante. Over to you, Doc.
Good evening, the class of 1992 colleagues, the family of Dr. Tom. I'm honored here to be, I'm really humbled to be invited to come and speak at this very important occasion. And I would like to really thank the class of 1992 for being so proactive. And I think they are the best class which is organized than any other I know at Medunsa.
Thank you very much.
I said this when they invited me to a meeting in Northwest. I think they went for an outing there. So I was there, people were dancing, it was nice and so on. And I told them that you are the only best organized class so far. I've never heard of any class. They talk of business, many things. And we did recruit there as an alumni association of SMU Medunsa. As you know, Medunsa has been flip-flopped. Medunsa, University of Limpopo, then Sefako Makgato University. So if you ask anybody that from Medunsa, where did you qualify? Medunsa, and ask a 7-year-old, they won't know why is Medunsa. You guys, did you buy your papers or we don't know this university? So we formed an alumni association, which is called Medunsa Alumni Association. So all the students from Medunsa, University of the North, who qualified at the Medunsa campus and the SMU, Sefako Makgato, are eligible for membership of this association. But people have been complaining that no, you can't name this Medunsa, then it was University of Limpopo. Now you name it after Sfagoma. Why can't you change it to Medunsa? So it was very difficult for us to convince alumni, to come and join us because people wanted it to revert back to Medunsa. But Sfagoma is also a very important person. As you remember, during the olden days, all schools were owned by missionaries, churches. So Sfagoma is the first person to open an independent school or a non-denominated school or Rampatele. And then that school produced the first gynecologist in South Africa, the late Dr. Machupe Mpatele, So the second gynecologist is Prof. E.T. Mhogo. So the first is Machupe Mpatele, who qualified in England. I think it's MRCP, members of the gynecologists there. So Sfagoma was pro-education, as you can see. So let's just accept it and embrace this name for the benefit of our students there, because those students need support. We need to plow back to that university, regardless of the name. The students are more important. Some students there, as you know, it's not like the olden days where there was FedEx, where you just pay and eat, and so you must buy your own food. Some students go for a day or two without a proper, balanced meal. I mean, how are you going to concentrate in class if you didn't really eat very well? So as alumni, we are trying to raise funds. We want you to come and join us, help in whatever form you can, so that we can help the students so that they can also be successful. Now, the important thing of today, Dr. Tom, I didn't know him personally, but I think this is a very, very important person. The way I heard, a colleague talking about him, his generosity, he worked very hard, I'm sure. They said he worked long hours. People will say, no, you see, his children and family have missed and so on. This is not right. He was concentrating on patients only. But if you recall, most of the doctors are called family doctors or family practitioners. So those patients and everybody, they are now his family, including his children and wife and other relatives. So he has not deserted them. He's looking after a big family. And, it's difficult to balance life when you are a doctor. Anybody who said they've balanced family and work life, I don't believe that, unless if you are specialized in certain specialties. But if you're a GP, you are just a donkey. Family is either going to suffer, you are a very good GP, people come here and praise you, or you are a bad GP and the family benefits. So it's difficult to balance. So I think families who are here, who are not medical doctors, they must understand this, that we've been borrowed by the community, which is a family, like Dr. Tom did. This is a very important man. He has passed on at a very early age. I mean, I think he's 58. Somebody told me that if you want to die early, you must do very, very good things. If you want to live longer, you must do wrong things. So this is what happened to our good doctor. God took him maybe to go and do a better job where he's going. But this is painful because he has got family, relatives, and us also who needs him. who valued him. I think where he's coming from, they should name either a street or some important building after him. Most of the roads, airports, buildings are named after politicians. This man has done more than any other politician, the way I listened. So, as alumni, we are not going to forget him. We are going to hand a picture to the family, which unfortunately I couldn't frame because, Cape Town, in the Cape is too far. They will frame this and hang it in where they prefer in the house so that they mustn't forget about this very important person. Number two, we're going to have 2 golf shirts, which normally they must be signed by the class of 1992. But because of COVID and all of you, we cannot meet at a venue where these things will be. I did sign the golf shirt on all your behalves. All your names are there on the golf shirts. And then we're going to take one of the golf shirts, frame it, and hang it at Medunsa, so that they must never forget this important colleague in Medunsa. His children or grandchildren, great-grandchildren might one day go and study there. And then they see, that's my grandfather, That golf shirt is my grandfather. I mean, they'll be very proud. You know how jealous will other students be? And this will encourage the young students from his family to study even harder, to promote his legacy, to do even better than him. Whenever they pass there, they just feel like, going to the library or go to the hospital to go and do their own clinical work there without being followed by professors, just to, take that baton and run with it from Dr. Tom. Also, if this Heroes Memorial, the picture it is as it is, if we can make it much bigger, and then we go and hang it at, medical institutions. Dr. Mujapelo, I think, can help with that, so that we bake a 3 by 2 meters, get a place in Medunsa, go and hang it there. But unfortunately, I don't know whether you can still put people on an already taken picture, or we can come with a system where there can be space there, where you write names and get a photo maybe in gold or silver. You just plug it in there as people are, passing on. I think this will be a very, very good thing to honor our colleagues and the great man, Dr. Tom. And also, the family maybe can donate something, or even the class of 1992. They can donate, for example, a bench which is written Dr. Tom's name and deliver it at Medunsa there. Put it in the garden, like I think Professor Mopatlani's family. They've donated a bench there, or any other thing which, can be seen. We can do that as class of 1992, Alumni Association, and the family. The family shouldn't pay a cent. We, the colleagues, will have to pay for that, a small memorial. And Dr. Makume Kums, he knows this. He's in the executive at our association. He must spearhead this thing urgently. I'm not saying a bench only, but the family can decide, on something which we can put, which will be visible, so that we can remember him. And we are not guaranteed that the politician will name a street or a building after him in where he was staying, I think 8 and 8. I hope, these are very serious, very important matters. To the family, I'm saying, you have lost a very good man. From the time I've been communicating with his class, the way they spoke about him, I'm really saddened that this is the type of person which we needed, especially during this time of COVID. As he was a hard worker, you'd have helped so many patients during this pandemic, and also to come with new ideas to help, new students, to mentor them. Now we have lost such a big tree. The big tree has fallen, and then the shade which we're enjoying is gone. We have been bent by the sun, the sun of depression, the sun of the pandemic, the sun of political instability. If this man was here, I think he was going to just lift us, from this horrible situation. So the class of 1992, colleagues, family, we have done very well. And I think this won't be the last thing. This is the beginning of very good things for many colleagues who have shown leadership, generosity, like hardworking, like Dr. Tom. Thank you very much, colleagues and the MC. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Mtlane. And thank you for reminding us that we're a big family that comprises of Medunsa, Limpopo, as well as the Sefako Makgato University. And after you've made the words, I think we should add on one of Buyile's attributes, the fact that he's a unifier. The fact that his legacy, he leaves us to be unified. And talking about that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to just add to our agenda just one item. In line with Dr. Buyile Tom's legacy, I would like to give over to Dr. Buso. Dr. Buso is going to introduce Dr. Buyile, and let's sit and listen to what they're going to tell us about. Over to you, Dr. Buso.
Thank you, Mzi. Dr. Luvuyo Buyile doesn't need much introduction. He is a committed member of the Public Service of South Africa, and he is a graduate of Medunsa, the class of 2005. He has been mentored by Dr. Tom, and he's from UTNH himself. So I don't want to waste time. I just want to show that Dr. Tom, what people are saying about him, he has transferred the skills, his love, his legacy to other people outside his family. And Dr. Buyile is one of those living examples. He coaches soccer teams and all that he has taken from Dr. Buyile Tom. I hand over to you, Dr. Luvuyo. The stage is yours.
It's quite a big stage, I must say. But thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. And I think I'm very humbled because when I was given, or this notice was shared with me from my brother, I felt like I might not fit to be part of this, as it is class of 92. However, having listened to how the colleagues and my seniors and comrades have been sharing about Buyile, as I would refer to him, I was proud that I made time to join, because I think I won't lie, it has been difficult to find closure, and I think to hear how he had touched everyone's lives, and how he had been consistent and he had remained the same, as colleagues were attributing to how they met him even at Forte, how he has been at Medunsa, and how he has been till his last days. Personally, I met him as a patient. I was still in my high schooling years in UTNEC at the time. And I must say that we are proud as a family because he still remained a family physician up until his last moments. And I related to the statement that was made earlier on to say he was indeed a family physician, because up until today, my mother still cannot believe because she doesn't know who else is going to replace Dr. Buyile, both as her physician and also as her psychologist for that matter. Because she knew that even if she's not sick, Buyile would know that I'm and that's a true spirit of a family physician. And we really lost in him passing on as a community of UTNEC. I must say as well that personally he made a difference and made life easy when I was in the medical school. Because as much as we know that abazali bethu bayasifundisa, but not necessarily understanding or being learned kwezindawo sikuzo. So I knew when I'm home that whenever I make a turn at his place of practice, I know that he's gonna guide me, he's gonna continue to mentor me, and he still kept in touch. Mfazi wakhe was a year ahead of me, but I was more close with him ekudele esetinarha, and yet Sisiziki was here eKhambasini Medunze 2B. And I would be proud and smile whenever I also meet her in the corridors of Medunze. So I just want to also affirm ezi zinto to say indeed he had been a selfless and a humble and a very dedicated health professional, which still remains an embodiment of what all health professionals should be all about. And we have learned a lot. I have learned a lot from him, and I've taken so many lessons from his life. And may his soul rest in peace. Yes, besingalindelanga basishiye ngolu hlobo, but uthande uThixo, and there was nothing much we could have done. But I want to say to the family and the kids, yes, you might have lost a husband, you might have lost a father, but remember, you had contributed in making a nation out of the life and the times that Buyile has spent when he was still alive and when he was with us. I thank you very much to the organizers, and humble apologies to barging into the class of 92. But I felt it's befitting as the colleagues and the classmates that he remained the person that you knew him to be, and he continued to impact knowledge and also mentor some of us, and he has made a good contribution and a great contribution in Bomin Betu. And Nani should continue to be proud of him as having been that pillar amongst yourselves and keeping you as a family instead of just being classmates. Thank you very much for the opportunity. May the soul of Dr. Buyile Tom rest in peace. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Bayeni. At this juncture, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Nzeki Tom, wife to the late Buyile Tom, to respond. Over to you, Dr. Tom.
Organizers of the Healthcare Memorial, Class of 92, WASA, Border Health Forum, SAMA, colleagues, family, and my friends. I greet you all this evening with sincerest gratitude. The Tom family is honored that you are giving us this opportunity to celebrate and honor their son, the brother, the uncle, the father to my boys and my husband. Medunsa, class of 92. You have shown us so much love and care when my husband passed on. I had already given up on the spirit of Ubuntu, but COVID has shown us differently. the love and humanity from colleagues, from my neighbors, family and friends. Everyone so supportive, sending comforting words and encouraging messages and calls, giving us advice, bringing food and drinks to my doorstep when I was down and out, helping us with the funeral arrangements. I will always thank God for surrounding me with all of you, especially at a time when I lost the love of my life. A very vibrant, loving and romantic partner. I was just thinking about him this Sunday when it was Valentine's, how he would have filled the house with flowers, sweets and chocolates, little hearts, little teddy bears. But he would not only bring those for me, but also for the boys, because he was a very great father to my boys. He would be the first one to see if anything was not going fine with them. He cared for each and every one of his family. Any kind of need he would come through, especially when it came to education. He was a very knowledgeable man, and he would always research whatever was giving him challenges. He was humble, a humble gentleman to the society, very talkative, and he loved to laugh so much. We'd go to a funeral, and when we arrived there, he would say to me, "Okay, go in, I will follow you." And then in a few minutes, I will hear loud laughter and people talking big noises, and he would be one of those people. I would hear his voice so loud out there, and I would know that is him making jokes and talking a lot and enjoying the company of other people. He would be the loudest. My house is so quiet without him. The same person would be as cool as a cucumber in some instances. I remember when I had a braai here for all the little ones in the family. Now I saw one of my nephews jumping in the pool and quickly pulled one of his cousins outside the pool, and when I looked at the child, she was unconscious. So what do we do when you start resuscitation? You first call for help. So I was screaming my husband's name, and then I started resuscitating this child. Saw him popping through the window, and I thought he was coming, so I just continued resuscitation, and all the other kids are standing there around us scared, and they were starting to cry because she was not responding. So in a while the child comes to, and now when I look at the door, I see my husband standing there, and he was just looking at me, and I gave him the look. And then he just said, "No, there you go. You did it, girl." And that was it. What can I say? That was the kind of person that my husband was. But finally, let me reassure my boys that everything will be fine. We should never blame God or be angry with God. Lamentations chapter 3 verse 33 says, "For he does not willingly bring affliction or grief to anyone." So let us all just trust him, for he is our refuge and strength. Thank you all.
Thank you, Z, for that kind message from Tsiki. Thank you ever so much, Tsiki. We know this is not easy for you. We really love hearing from you and sharing with us those lovely moments about Dr. Tom. I'll hand over to you, Z.
Okay, thank you. At this moment, I'm going to hand over to one member of the class of 1992, Dr. Bonagele Kabaka, to do the vote of thanks.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Chair. On behalf of the class of 92, we would like to thank each and every one of you who made this ceremony this evening possible. Thank you very much. I would like though just to mention a few names. To you, Dr. Ntsiki Tom, and your family, thank you very much for agreeing for this opportunity for the ceremony to be happening tonight and all of us being part of it. We know and we understand that even though we call it a celebration, it probably at some stage also brought some of the memories that perhaps you may not you want to have at this juncture. But we really appreciate what you and your family did. Thank you very much. To our speaker, Dr. Maggie Muchapelo, thank you. And to Dr. Bulelwa Mnyanda, who unfortunately recently also lost her husband through COVID-19, we would like to send our sincere condolences to you and your family, ma'am. Thank you very much for allowing to be part of the ceremony. The way you were talking, you sounded like somebody who is in good spirit. We really appreciate that. Nkosi sisi mazenethole. To Z Mjoli Zilungile, for some reason, this lady seemed to always find time for the activities of our group. Siyabonga sisi, keep it up. Thank you very much. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kabaka. Going down memory lane is sometimes not as easy as usual. And therefore, some of the memories can be brought back. And we know that tears is a language that God understands. He understands all languages, including the language of tears. At this juncture, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Ngele Mahoba from the class of 1992 and also the Northwest Ambassador to close this meeting with a prayer. Over to you, Ngele.
Okay, let us pray. Father God, we thank you. We honor you. We give you praise and glory. We exalt you, acknowledging your presence at this moment, acknowledging that you are in control of what happens in our lives and that you are Alpha and Omega. Acknowledging that though we do not understand and we are in pain, your word assures us. Your word says we should lean not on our own understanding, but trust you with all our hearts and never rely on what we think we know. You said we should remember you in everything that we do, and you will direct our paths. Father God, we send your guardian angels to watch over Ntsiki and the family. You know the plans you have for the family and the loved ones. May they rest under your shadow as you are the only healer. We thank you for all the friends and family who joined us in this evening as we celebrated the life of our beloved friend, the late Dr. Buyile Tom. May his soul rest in peace. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit rest and abide with us and the Tom family. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Amen and amen.
Amen.
Hambi kwa kundia kasa desa pena unga slide